Everyone loves the bronze glow they get from the sun, but not everybody is aware of the real damage it causes to the skin. Health officials teamed up to educate teens about the deadly risks of indoor tanning by starting a provincial campaign called Indoor Tanning is Out. Graduating students rocked grad dresses in a fashion show showing off their tan-free skin. Tanning does damage that can last for life.
We know ultraviolet light, both A and B, damage different tissues in the skin. They stimulate melanin production, which can lead to melanomas, one of the most deadly forms of skin cancer. They also destroy the elastin and collagen in the skin, which give it its elasticity, so they tend to get more wrinkling, more sagging.
A big myth for indoor tanning is that it raises your vitamin D levels.
Most of the vitamin D comes from UVB rays, while tanning beds emit mostly UVA rays. And the diet is a great way to get vitamin D, and vitamin D supplements are also a cheaper alternative.
Tanning doesn't have to be the answer for vitamin D or for being tanned in general.
4, 5.
Makeup and bronzer is a great substitution for the tanning bed. You can look fabulous for grad and you don't have to damage your skin.
Teens also heard from a skin cancer victim who admitted her tanning choices almost killed her.
I would have to say I do have regrets. What I know now is that by being diagnosed with squamous cell skin cancer, that my risks of all cancers increased by about 30%. So I'm at risk now. I put myself at risk for being exposed to all kinds of other possible dangers.
The coalition wants a strong legislation to protect teens from the risks of fake and bake. Before you hop into a bed, make sure to do the research. For State News File, I'm Megan Falloon.
Starting today, Canadians with Nexus cards can use them in faster security lines when flying to the United States. There are 8 Canadian airports supporting the program, including Calgary. The program allows border guards to move people who are not considered a security risk through customs faster, so travelers who appear to be high risk can get closer examination. Nexus is a 12-year-old joint venture of the Canadian and U.S. governments and costs $50. To qualify, you must show you have no criminal record and have never broken customs or immigration laws.
They said you check behind the neck and the ears, right? So I was just started here. It's faded somewhat.
Tanya Brown knew enough to recognize the signs of a tick bite on her son, Zeph.
I was checking his head and I came across a bullseye rash. Well, I didn't know what was that at the time, but it looked weird, so I Googled it and did my own research and saw that ticks were a cause of that.
I didn't know that I had a tick on me. Just as soon as I got home, my mom was looking for ticks, and then she saw that rash, and yeah, I didn't feel any bites. I hadn't really feel anything.
Doctors put Zeph on antibiotics as a precaution to ward off Lyme disease, a serious illness that comes from ticks.
He said it looked suspiciously like Lyme disease, so they treated him as such, just with a 2-week round of antibiotics, and that should be the end of it because we caught it early enough.
Brown's early tick season experience isn't isolated.
Oh, it was just a little brown one.
A couple of weeks ago, Raquel Milliken pulled ticks not only from her children but from her animals after a hike in the woods.
I took one off of a little boy at soccer last week. It was stuck in his head, pulled that off with the tweezer, and then his mom found another one on his head that night. So there are definitely a lot out there.
Health authorities have just put out a warning to alert those heading outdoors because tick bites can make you sick. Walk on cleared trails, cover exposed skin, and apply insect repellent to uncovered skin. Carefully check yourself, children, and pets. Around your home, keeping the lawn short and free of debris or shade. Finding so many ticks so early surprised Milliken.
I didn't know that there were this many ticks, and this year already I've experienced six or more ticks.
Both moms are glad they found them early and are now better prepared for the months ahead. Tick season in the Okanagan is over by July. In Kelowna, Megan Falloon, CHBC News.
Calgary's 9th ecstasy-related death has been confirmed and 5 men have been arrested. Megan Falloon is following the story. Megan, what can you tell us?
9th PMMA-related death in Calgary. 5 men have been charged after crime labs confirmed ecstasy seized in 3 recent cases contained PMMA. In the month of February, police made their arrest of 3 groups of men who claimed to have no ties to each other. The men ranging from 20 to 32 were distributing the drug that killed 9 people in Alberta. Ecstasy laced with PMMA hit closer to home earlier this year when SAIT student Cody Gorlick died in his tower residence on campus. The 23-year-old was in his first year of welding. SAIT's president Stephen Hildebrand says substance abuse can be a common issue among students. SAIT did offer counseling services for students close to Gorlick, his family hoping others will learn from their loss and this drug epidemic will end. Investigators are taking an uncommon step of releasing photos of the accused. Police say anyone who may have purchased drugs from any of these men should be aware that it could contain the deadly ingredient PMMA. Brandon?
Thanks, Megan. That was Megan Falloon reporting from the newsroom.
The ribbon cutting marked the official opening of the East Village Experience Center, the first step to the full revamp of East Village. The master plan of the dramatic change will include 2 major mixed-use residential projects with around 1,200 new condos. Gateway, The Crossing, River's Edge, and Parkside are the 4 areas that make up East Village. Each area has its own identity and activities, including the National Music Center, Riverwalk, restaurants, retail, and the historic Simmons Building.
Calgarians from every walk of life have come out and enjoyed the Riverwalk and will continue to come out and enjoy that. The National Music Center and the new Central Library will become real magnets for people from across the city. So the people who live here will be welcoming Calgarians from all walks of life to their community, and I think that's great.
For longtime Calgarians, the East Village has been a blight on the landscape. Many people thought it would always be a place for the homeless and dilapidated buildings, but this may finally be the turnaround. Since 2007, $100 million in infrastructure improvements have gone into the neighborhood.
Right now there isn't much property tax being paid here because there's not a lot going on. But as these buildings get built, this becomes a source of revenue for the city, and what we did was we upfronted that money through this community revitalization levy in order to build that infrastructure, and it all get paid back by the people who choose to live and work here.
The new residence going up is a 2-phase project called Evolution. Sales of the condos will begin this month.
The first phase of the Evolution project is called Fuse. Fuse will be completed in 2 years for Calgarians to begin living the urban experience. For SAIT Newsfile, I'm Megan Falloon.